What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Love Coach Scott Catamas, and I am your host for the Awakening World. And this is our Saturday night edition. Welcome. It's wonderful to have all of you here. It's going to be a beautiful show. We're going to be celebrating the Illuminate Film Festival. And I want to welcome all of our friends that are in the Zoom room, all of our regulars. And I see a lot of our regular friends, and always put into the chat box where you're coming from geographically. I also want to thank all of our friends that are watching on Facebook. And a big thank you to John and Summer Raymer. They run the Sign Network, that's spelled S-I-N-E, and that gets us out to up to 100 Facebook groups and pages. Now, if you are watching on Facebook, or you might also be watching on Alan Steinfeld's YouTube channel, and whoever Ann Baldwin is, we don't want you to share your screen. Thank you. We're all in our living rooms. We're all at home managing these things. So do remember to keep yourselves muted, and please be careful with what you do in terms of screen share. Back to our friends on Facebook. We want to invite you to join us. The Global Peace Tribe is wonderful. We do 3 shows every weekend at minimum, sometimes special events, and would like you to join us. And it's easy to do that. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com. That's globalpeacetribe.com and register. You'll see this little link down at the bottom of whatever page you come to. And this takes you to our registration page. And as I said, we do 3 shows minimum every weekend. And all the people you're seeing on the poster, those are some of our co-hosts and some of our regulars that are on the show frequently with us. Last night, we had a really special show going into memories and moments from the past. And this, of course, is the show that we're doing tonight, celebrating the Illuminate Film Festival. And then tomorrow, we're going to be talking all about healing and getting ready for Thanksgiving with a lot of gratitude. We also often have musical artists. So, for example, tonight, you'll be hearing wonderful music from our house musical artist, Omashar. And then also coming back, one of our absolute favorites, Fanny and Vagary, are with us. And I'm looking for Fanny. Where is she in gallery view? There she is. Hey, Fanny, welcome back. Looking forward to hearing from you and Vagary. And most of who you're going to be seeing tonight are all members of the film community. And we are celebrating the Illuminate Film Festival. This is Danette, who is my co-host for the evening, my co-pilot. And she's done an amazing job of putting together this incredible festival. And then her co-pilot throughout the whole experience is the wonderful Andrew Stoneham, the Senior Program Director for Illuminate Film Festival. So we're going to be hearing from both Danette and Andrew. And we're also going to meet some of the filmmakers. And I really enjoyed the opportunity to meet Dana and Chrisana. And their film was a huge hit at the festival. And wait until you hear their story. It's a really beautiful story. So it's great to have Dana and Kusana with us. And then some of you may already know Michael Sandler. He is relatively famous. And he was part of the Facing Fear film and also came all the way out from New Jersey to the festival. And I was so impressed with his beautiful energy, his spirit, his message. I said, we've got to have Michael on our kind of celebration show. So welcome, Michael. Really looking forward to connecting with you. And also the festival celebrates, the festival takes place both in Sedona, Arizona, and it also takes place online. And we'll be talking a lot about this, the online part, but because we're also in Sedona, they gave a very special award to this woman you're looking at here. She is a pillar in the community of Sedona. You're going to learn all about Lisa Dahl and her amazing story. And so we're looking forward to meeting you, Lisa. So thank you for being with us. And again, I see so many of our wonderful friends that are regulars with the Global Peace Tribe. And Jasmine Bear, my pup, is she's kind of been wanting to be on my lap today, so you might be getting more of Jasmine Bear. And we've got the rooster. Michael, since we're doing the animal introductions, who do you got there?
I have Ruru the Guru, who joins me usually for meditations during the shows. He goes for hikes and runs with me. And he's a Tesla traveling indoor rooster.
I love it. You know, we often do meditations to start our Sacred Sunday show. So maybe sometime we can arrange for him to do a meditation for us.
Oh, would love it.
Okay, all right, we'll do that. Thank you. All right, well, it is my pleasure to turn it over to my co-pilot, Tanette. Tanette, tell us a little bit about the festival.
Well, some of you were on Scott's show last week, and we really loved introducing you all to the Illuminate Film Festival. And now we are, let's see, we're 8 days in. Tomorrow is the final day of the festival, which means that you have one more day to, purchase any of our global virtual films, but you still will have 7 days to start watching and then 48 hours to finish. So let me tell you a little bit about Illuminate. We started 9 years ago now here in lovely Sedona because we really believed in the vehicle of film to elevate humanity. There were so many other industries that have joined the global conscious movement because I think we're all seeing that we need to move in the right direction here as humans on this planet and create personal, community, and planetary transformation. We all know an awakened world is possible, right? That's why you're all here at this show. And it takes a village to make that happen. And one group of people that is making that happen are filmmakers, because they are not only awakening themselves, through their own journeys, but they're sharing them with the world. And, this really is a force. I don't know that there is anything more powerful than the moving image, to create change in this world. So I just appreciate all of our filmmakers, our industry guests, our awardees, because we're all on this train together.
Beautiful. We're going to show throughout the show a few trailers from the movies. And I think this first trailer I'm going to show is from a great movie called Gratitude Revealed. I had the joy of moderating the Q&A afterwards with Lynn Twist and the filmmaker, Louis Schwartzberg. Danette, anything you want to share to introduce the trailer to our audience?
So, Gratitude Revealed is a film that was, I think, 20 years in the making for Louis. And many of you may know Louis already from his most recent film, which was Fantastic Fungi. And what I loved about that film is, boy, did it brought out the mushroom lovers in all of us. And, it turned out to be a huge phenomenon. And, you know, and Louis even denied, you know, originally a deal with Netflix or any kind of major distributor because he wanted to hit the ground. He wanted every, you know, art house theater in America to show his film. He wanted the communities to get together, and he really wanted to kind of create a grassroots movement. And that's what he did for Mushrooms. So now he is doing it with Gratitude, and there couldn't be a better subject.
Great. And yes, to Laura Chamberlain, I just put in the link to where you can get ticket information, learn all about the festival. So absolutely, please do that. If you haven't bought your virtual pass yet, please do it. And we'll also show you a little bit later on in the show how to do that. But for right now, let's take a look at Gratitude Revealed.
Look at this.
Just hear it all. Ultimately, gratitude is a way of life.
We don't know how we got here. We don't know why we're here. We don't know where we're going.
We bless our food. We bless our house. We bless our friendships.
The journey is into oneself and into the meaning of being.
We are slowly coming to realize we are all human and getting more in touch with our kinship.
It's about how to become a better human being, a better human being.
I see gratitude as a route to a happy life.
See, there are things that I need to do, and there are mountains I want to move, but I am right here, right now, and it's beautiful.
Let the gratefulness overflow into blessing all around you.
What a perfect trailer for us, given that this is Gratitude Month. We're heading into Thanksgiving. In fact, tomorrow's Sacred Sunday show is all about gratitude. So it's a really inspiring film, and it's just one of the.
If you don't have a gratitude practice already, you will after this film. You know, the film itself is a gratitude practice, to be honest, because you know when you're done with that, you've seen a multitude of people and their stories, and you know everything that we really have, you know, that we can be grateful for.
Yeah. You know, gratitude is the great non-denominational spiritual practice, you know. So now for those of you who are new to the Awakening World, we always have lots of music, especially on Saturday nights. And so we like to get music going right away. And we have with us our house musical artist, who is my co-pilot. He's my Andrew. And of course, I'm talking about the wonderful Omashar. Hello, beautiful, beloved Omashar.
Good morning, evening, night, namaste, aloha, from here in -3 Colorado. Holy smoke.
Oh, wow.
I know, luckily I have a nice warm room to be in. So what a beautiful night we're having with the Illuminate Film Festival. The end of, I can't believe it's the end of, because everything's kind of a new beginning, and I know what's coming out of the film festival and what's coming out of the Awakening World shows it was our new foundation. And the song I'm going to sing is a song, it's a newer song, and it was a favorite in Sedona, and I introduced it about 3 weeks ago, and we'll just get into it. You can move around to it a little bit. got to press a couple of buttons.
And everybody move and groove to the music, and I'll pop the camera on you. And that means you, Kieran Eisenberg.
I am you, though we seem to come from different skies. And what is true is the love that shines right through your eyes. Yes, we are here and now. It's time to leave the past behind. So take me by the hand. Let us walk across this sacred land. Because this is the bit you sing. I am you, though we seem to come from different skies. What is true is the love that shines right through your eyes. And you gotta mute yourself. Remember, we're always divinely connected. Our spirits, our bodies are being resurrected. The love in your hearts will lift you up, and I'll come along and fill your cup. I am you, though we seem to come from different skies. Some people are not muted. What is true is love that shines right through your eyes. 1,000 sunny days describes the joy I feel. I'll walk 1,000,000 miles, 'cause you know I'll see the truth revealed. 2, 3, 4. Remember, you're always divinely connected. Our spirits, our bodies are being resurrected. The love in your hearts will lift you up, and I'll come along and fill your cup. What is true is the love that shines right through your eyes. Dearly beloved, from different skies.
Oh, that was fantastic. I'm going to put the spotlight on Eleanor Joy. Eleanor Joy, you definitely led.
You rock, Eleanor. I know, it's a trip. It's bizarre because about 5 people became unmuted during. And I can hear it all the coughing and the cups of tea and the roosters and the chickens and the dogs and the goats.
I love how you were able to fit into your verbiage.
Well, it's a trip.
I can hear you muting. Yes.
I know, man. Anyway, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to hear more Omashar later, but just a reminder that you can always support Omashar and enjoy his amazing music. Each of these albums is terrific, and it's easy. Just go to omashar.bandcamp.com. omashar.bandcamp.com.
Thank you.
Thank you, Omashar. We love you very, very much.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to bring Danette back on because she's got a wonderful introduction. I'm so happy that Lisa Dahl agreed to be on the show. I was very touched when I had a chance to meet her at the festival. And Danette, I'm going to bring Lisa on, and I'd love for you to share a little bit and introduce her to our audience.
Well, I am so lucky to be able to introduce this very, very special person to all of you, because she was a big part of this year's festival, and she has an incredible story to tell. And I want to give her an opportunity to share a little bit of that with you this evening. But first, let me tell you, who she is. If you live in Sedona, you definitely know exactly who Lisa is. She's an extraordinary force of nature. She's the sole owner and executive chef of the Dahl Restaurant Group, and began 27 years ago in Sedona with a restaurant here called Dahl and De Luca Ristorante Italiano. So now she has 6 restaurants. She's the largest employer in Sedona, employing about 330 people. And they collectively serve over 400,000 guests per year. And, she has really made Sedona a premier culinary destination. And lots of our guests were able to enjoy all of her culinary delights while they were here for the festival. So she's been featured on countless food shows. She's championed cooking battles. She's received the highest culinary honors and awards, and authored 2 best-selling cookbooks. I could go on and on about her numerous prestigious and international, awards and platforms. But, the thing that I really love most about Lisa is that her passion for cooking comes from a very, very special place. She is truly living the legacy of her son, and who passed away. So I wanted to first introduce Lisa Dahl. Welcome, Lisa.
Good evening, everyone. So happy to be here tonight.
So Lisa, I want to share also that you were the recipient of this year's Illuminate Spirit of Service Award. And we presented those awards on the opening night of our festival. And the awards were all about embodying the spirit of service that was exemplified by our protagonist in the film Amma's Way. And I guess by a show of hands of all of you out there, how many of you have known or even been hugged by Amma? So quite a few of you. And, this film really talked about unconditional love and service. And what we felt was really important was to honor those in our community who are also exemplifying a spirit of love and service. So Lisa, can you tell us what your motto is? Because I know that you have a motto about food, right? And that kind of powers everything that you do. And then can you also tell us kind of where that all began many years ago in San Francisco?
I certainly can. My mantra is, when you cook with love, you feed the soul. And that mantra came to me. It's my gratitude, quite honestly. My son was tragically killed in San Francisco. He rode his bike over the Golden Gate Bridge to go to a record store, and he never came back. And through that experience, I no longer felt I could live in the Bay Area. It brought back too many memories to me. It was too difficult. I had raised Justin there since he was in kindergarten, quite honestly. And so it was time for a change. I feel like I was really guided to Sedona. There was all kinds of signs that really showed that to me, a lot of signs of hope. I didn't come to Sedona to open a restaurant. I was guided to do that. Quite honestly, I loved cooking, and Justin and I loved cooking together. I was in the fashion business, and every night I would come home and he'd be done with school. His friends would come over, and the best times ever were cooking. So it was only a natural opportunity, I would have to say, when a restaurant location became available to me, that I would start to cook and heal through that. It became my salvation, quite honestly.
And so, you know, you started your first restaurant, and obviously that became, you know, a huge hit here, and that led to many, many more restaurants. And I know in those restaurants, there is really a piece of Justin, because you believe really that Justin is really guiding you, don't you?
Absolutely. Every one of the restaurants has a shrine to Justin. It might be a very small shrine that you have to kind of discover, but it's truly my mission is for people to feel Justin's love through what we do in our restaurants. And after 27 years, and to see the popularity of our restaurants continue to expand and grow, it's the most rewarding thing I could ever put into words. I feel like it's that his love can shine through our food, our service, our ambiance, and the incredible gift that I've been noticing so much recently is the compliments that we get about our service and about the people that work for us, that are basically, they are family members, not just employees. Right now we have about 360 employees, and we've, you know, brought ourselves back since the pandemic in a way that is almost a miracle in itself, quite honestly.
Yeah, and you know, this whole story struck me honestly when I read a poem that you posted that Justin had written. And this was really coming from a wise soul, you know, who truly understood where our world needed to go, to an awakened place full of unconditional love. And ever since I saw that poem, I really understood your drive and your passion, because everything you do, I feel, is really driven by his words and his dream for humanity. So I also want to just highlight some of the philanthropic initiatives that you've spearheaded. So let's see, Lisa has contributed tens of thousands of dollars to those in need from natural disasters and war-torn areas, including the institution, including the Chef Jose Andres World Central Kitchen, to which the project donated $35,000. Her most significant venture is Project Soup Hope, a humanitarian effort that aims to stem national and global hunger in a unique and effective method. It's dedicated to Justin, and it is now taking shape. So this is one of the reasons we felt we wanted to honor you. And I understand that just the energy of Illuminate this year kind of brought back all these memories of these moments that you shared with people. Can you talk a little bit about your experience?
Well, thanks to you and allowing me to be a recipient, it really reopened many of the doors that, you know, over all those years, you kind of forget a lot of the things that have taken place. And, you know, we've done so many things that perhaps were donations in kind and in dollars. But I think that the charity that you see in the restaurant business on a daily basis, I mean, every day there's an opportunity to do something that, you know, uplifts in ways that, you know, it's the humanitarian part of the business that I think I'm really drawn to. And I don't know, sometimes just making a soup for somebody is like a world of upliftment. And I believe that soup is very much a metaphor for life. I've seen a soup, you know, help someone in recovery from cancer. I've seen a soup just bring joy in so many ways and get people feeling good again. I've also sometimes made soups for people that were, quite honestly, on their dying days and could no longer really sustain, you know, a normal meal. But the soup was that comfort that, you know, kind of help the family and help people, you know, leave this life as we know it. So,
and I'll
just
add,
think it's, yes, please.
And I'll add actually that after my own brain surgery and I was in healing, Lisa made soup for me, and she had my fiance meet her at whatever restaurant she was, you know, working at that night, and she would pack Tupperwares of food and soup for me. And I will never, ever forget that, because that was just, you know, obviously someone with a huge heart, amidst everything that you're doing. You're running 6 restaurants, and here you are, you know, thinking of somebody who is healing. So I wanted to just read a couple of the comments in the chat here, because they're just so beautiful. Karen says, Lisa, your compassionate, beautiful heart shines so much love to many. Laura says, yes, soups are soups for the soul. Lisa, love is your soup or power. Oh, that's a good one.
That's good. That's really good.
And I just wanted to say thank you for everything. And I'll end off with a huge salute to the amazing opening night party that Lisa threw in Illuminate's honor. Her brand new restaurant, which is called Pizza Lisa in the village of Oak Creek, was, you know, the location of so many happy stomachs and happy hearts, because it was a beautiful, beautiful event, and Lisa donated all of it. And you know, the food is just gorgeous and clean and sourced beautifully, and it's just the kind of, it's up our alley. It's the kind of jam we are interested in. Our audiences are interested in, right? This is good stuff, folks. So I just want to say, you know, Lisa, you dreamed up a beautiful event, and it was just really special. So we thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. I had a ball myself, and you know, my Saturday nights are changing a little bit. This is a new jam, so I'm loving it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I wanted to add just a couple things.
Shalom to everyone.
I also really enjoyed the dinner there, and I've been back to Pizza Lisa twice because it's so good. And our one of our regulars, he runs the Mystic Monastery. The wild abbot, Jerry, lived in Sedona, and he said that he had the joy of dining at your very first restaurant, and even then it was get in because everybody wanted to be there.
Wow. Well, we call it the Shrine to the Divine. So whenever anyone is coming to Sedona, come visit us. We'll always open our hearts and your palates. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa.
Thank you.
You know, it's interesting that we have this Lisa on tonight, and obviously a big part of the story is how inspired she's been by the passing of her son and him passing at such an early age. I wasn't going to share, but then I realized, yeah, I am going to. About 2 hours before the show began, I learned that a very dear friend of mine, she studied with me through Love Coach Academy. She became a love coach, died of breast cancer 2 days ago. So I just want to take a moment to acknowledge my friend Celine, whom I loved very dearly. She was a very bright light and very young, late 30s. And she left our world 2 days ago. And so much love to her, and maximum grace for her husband, Kevin, who, of course, is going through the unimaginable. I went through that when my wife passed away. So anyway, Celine, I'm dedicating tonight's show to you and to your beautiful spirit. All right. You know, it's all about having support. And I'm blessed to have the support of Omashar, who's always with me for my shows. And Danette, you are blessed to have the support of Andrew. And I'd love for you to introduce your partner here.
I would be nowhere without Andrew. Andrew is the, he's so embarrassed. He is the curator extraordinaire at Illuminate. And, you know, he has an incredible eye, and I'm trying to convince him to start a film critic show because he sees in films what, you know, many other people don't. And so I really truly rely on him to source films. Now, I got to tell you all out there, we don't just happen to come across, you know, 11 films and go, oh yeah, these are great, let's show it. No, this is a process. And on a regular year, we might look through 500 films to find the top, you know, 11, you know, to show during the festival. So first, Andrew, can you share a little bit about that process? Because everybody wants a little, you know, behind the scenes look.
So yes, we do go through quite a number of films. We do a lot of, before the festival, we spend months and months of researching, reaching out to distributors, sales agents, filmmakers to find out what films are out there. There might be some films that have just, you know, just being finished, completed in the editing room. There might be films that are currently being shot, but might be ready just before the festival. So we kind of comb through, and we also have a you know, a very hefty list of contacts that we've made throughout the years. And so we also reach out to them and say, hey, do you have any projects on your slate? Or they might connect us with somebody who we didn't have a connection to. So definitely a lot of research and a lot of going through screeners. We get in these screeners and we have a whole screening committee of volunteers. It's about anytime between 10 to 15 people, depending on the festival season. And these dedicated volunteers watch these screeners, these films, and help us narrow it down. And we usually go through approximately somewhere, I would say, between 300 to 500 films any given year. And we have to whittle that down to, as Nat mentioned, 11 films. So there's certainly a lot of work, a lot of film watching. It sounds very lovely, but sometimes by the end of it, you're like, if I didn't have to watch another film. But that's just sort of a little bit that goes behind. And when we're watching the films, there's all tons of things we have to take into consideration. We think about our audience. We also think about, is this a new cinematic voice we're seeing emerging onto the scene? You know, obviously the message behind the film and within the film is extremely important to us here at Illuminate. So there's definitely a lot. It not always is just a great film. There's so much more that goes into making decisions and making the final deliberations. And of course, when you're curating, you fall in love, and you have to fight for those films, and other times those films that you love don't necessarily get into the lineup for whatever reason, and you're heartbroken after falling in love with them. So a lot of laughter is involved in finding films, and yeah, that's just like a little sneak peek for you guys.
Well,
and I want to say this, which is, what we're trying to do at Illuminate is actually change the scorecard. In the film industry right now, a film is valued, primarily by two things. Number one, how good the filmmaking is it innovative? How have they mastered the craft of filmmaking? And then the second is the box office numbers, right? And so, while those two things are both very important, to us, that is not the most important. The most important criteria of a film is how does it impact us? How does it impact you? Is it doing good in the world? Is it opening hearts? Is it going to make us kinder? Is it going to make us wiser? Is it going to make us more compassionate? Is it going to make us more likely to sustain our species, our planet, our humanity, going forward? And so we are trying to really change the game, not just here in our theaters and in our audiences and in our global virtual screenings, but even in the industry from the inside out. So that is our goal. And interestingly, Andrew came to us from some other festivals. He actually was the director of the Bermuda International Film Festival, and has programmed some other more mainstream festivals. And believe it or not, the conscious media movement was new to him when he first came in. And so, it was such an interesting and fun process for him to go, so, Greg Braden, who's this guy? Right. And then, as he went along, he's like, I know this guy. He's been in like 4 films we've seen. His name is Bruce.
I know that face. That is very, very true. I think in the very beginning, I was like a little nervous. I was like, what's a conscious film exactly? And I remember Danette explaining it to me, and I'm just like, I'm not sure I 100% still get it, but like, we'll see how it goes. But Danette was a great teacher. And now, even when I'm watching stream stuff, I'm just like, some conscious elements going on here.
Beautiful. I was actually listening to Greg Braden earlier this morning. One of our collaborating partners, Humanities team, had him on, and so I was listening to Greg speak today. I want to read what Charlotte just wrote. Charlotte wrote, I have the virtual pass, and I'm still working my way through the films. The thoughtful curation is apparent. The content, production values, and emotional impact of each film has been exceptional so far. And then she references the film Crows Are White Today. Wow. Karen Eisenberg writes, I have a virtual pass as well, and each film is so amazing. And one of the films, and we're going to take a look at the trailer that I know you actually found and kind of promoted, is this unauthorized biography. Now, normally, an unauthorized biography is kind of creepy. Usually it's kind of taking advantage of that person, right? But you have a very unique unauthorized biography that made it into the festival. Tell us a little bit about it.
This is a fantastic, fun documentary, and the filmmakers tell the story of Carbon from Carbon's perspective, which is just like so unique, so interesting a perspective. A lot of people probably think they have a pretty well-rounded understanding of what Carbon is. I thought the same thing when I first came across this film. And then when you watch the film, you're kind of like, I had no idea what Carbon was. And the filmmakers are able to frame and provide you with a lot of information, but the information is very digestible. You never feel like you're being educated, even though you are, which is just a testament to the mastery of their filmmaking. It's stylistic, but it's, fun and light, and you walk away learning so much. And it also leaves you with questions. Like, I'm sure after watching this film, people went off and did, further reading and further research. So it's just definitely a conversation starter for sure.
All right, here we go with Carbon, the unauthorized biography.
If I were to fall in love with an element, it would have to be carbon.
Carbon's the life of the party.
You'll know when Carbon walks in.
Carbon's just annoyingly good at everything.
How can she be so versatile? Solids and liquids and gases.
Because of carbon energy.
Life has become longer, health's better, all because of this sort of free gift.
So how did I come to be the most talked about but least understood element on Earth?
The levels of carbon pollution have increased dramatically.
It's not carbon's fault.
Know that carbon dioxide is building up.
It's going to lead to coastal flooding, droughts, storms.
It's the way we are using carbon. It's not carbon herself.
And we're approaching a tipping point.
Carbon is profoundly important in the universe. She is what makes us possible.
We don't exist independently of nature. We are nature. Because we are made of carbon, so is everything else.
But how did that spark of life begin in your world?
There's a direct line from the birth of carbon in stars to the birth of us and all of the life around us here on Earth.
It's like finding a long-lost relative.
Wow. I'm a participant in a great unfolding story in the universe.
We've been very fortunate to find the oldest carbon-bearing material in the world, 3.5 billion years old. This is the signature of life.
My generation feel viscerally that their future is at stake.
Nothing is more urgent to survival than understanding carbon and where she likes to hide.
Wherever I find life, it's going to have some carbon chemistry just the way I do.
You have to learn to get along with carbon. And she's very happy to get along with us if we treat her right.
Builder or destroyer? Which do you want me to be?
Wow. So creative. So creative.
Yeah, Andrew, when we showed this live, people had a really strong reaction to it. They did. And especially if, what you value in a movie is an education, right? If you're an intellectual movie watcher, this will float your boat. And we had really some pretty significant declarations of like, this is the greatest movie that ever lived, from folks who really appreciated its environmental message and its creativity.
In a moment, we're going to learn how to get tickets. We're going to go to the Illuminate Film Festival website. But another comment that just came in from Dorina, and Dorina's all the way in Ecuador. She writes, the trailers we saw last week here in the Awakening world were so great, and the actual films are fantastic. I've seen all of them so far with my virtual pass, and I'm enjoying them deeply, all the way from Ecuador, despite my slow internet issues. And she will share this word with all of her friends. Thank you. And the time limit is to November 17th. That's a question for Kiki. So I've put in the chat box where to go, but for everybody watching on Facebook, it's simple. It's the illuminatefilmfestival.com. illuminatefilmfestival.com. And when you go there, this is what you're probably going to see. And there's a carousel with some of the different films, The Invisible Extinction, Go Heal Yourself. This is the film that's going to be playing tomorrow, and I'm going to be doing the moderating the Q&A afterwards, actually, Antidote. And to get tickets, where should we take them next, Danette?
Just hit the films button, or that right there at the top, the menu where it says films, and it'll take you right down. Oh, you hit the passes button. I mean, you can still buy a virtual pass. It's still actually the best deal because a virtual pass is $45 and individual films are $15. So if you want to, have like a movie marathon It'll be the most uplifting, enlightening movie marathon of the year. Then you could go ahead and buy this. If you want to buy individual films, then I would just go right back up to the top of that landing page. There are 7 virtual movies. There were 4 films that were played in Sedona. One of which, actually, we'll get to this later, one of which is going to go virtual, and we're going to be offering that in January. That's Love Heals. But for now, you have 7 virtual films, The Sound of Us here included, and some of those that Scott just went over. But if you scroll down just a little bit, Scott, you'll see right here, scroll down a bit more because those are the in-persons, but starting from Go Heal Yourself, these are online. And so what'll happen is if you either buy your pass or buy your individual tickets before midnight Mountain Time tomorrow, Sunday, and you go ahead in there and you reserve each of the movies that you want to see, you will have 7 days to start watching any of those films. And as soon as you watch one of those films, you will have 48 hours to finish it. So you could have up to 9 days. So you could definitely watch 7 films, guys, in 9 days, and you'll feel like, you know, you just got like vitamins injected into your injected into your body, because it's there's a certain energy that comes with these films, and also the Q&As. The Q&As have just been really spectacular. And you know, I used to try to figure out, how do we communicate the magic when we're all in a theater, you know, virtually? And I think we finally figured it out this year, because when we have a Q&A where we invite you all into the Zoom room and we talk with the directors, we talk with a bunch of the experts in the film, you know, that magic starts happening even digitally. And honestly, that's always our goal, is create the Illuminate magic.
I want to answer a couple of the questions that have come in. Donna's is the easier one. The reason that all the films are not virtual is that it's kind of like the process that films go through. And so movies like Gratitude Revealed, which are going to be playing in theaters, it's important that they don't go online until they've kind of completed a certain quality of playing in movie theaters. So every film has got kind of its own trajectory. Some go straight to virtual, just like real movies, right? Some movies you can only go see it in the theater, and other movies are on Disney Plus the same day that it opens in the theaters. So different filmmakers have different strategies. I see that Moses has paid twice. So maybe you can private message him, Danette, about where he can go to get resolution. And I know my friend Lori Grace had a similar issue. She bought her ticket but wasn't able to get the pass. So while you're working that out with Moses, it's time for some more music. And I'm going to go to the wonderful Fanny and Vagary. Welcome back, you two. Quickly they scramble and get ready. Hi, Fanny.
Hey, sweetie, here we are.
It's so good to see you. Now, where are you geographically?
We're back in the Vancouver area, Surrey, BC.
Good.
In White Rock, her neighborhood got kidnapped us on our way to the islands. We stopped for a night. She said, Fanny, we have enchilada for you. Why don't you stop over? And I said, okay, because we were on a highway, just on our way back from 5 months traveling. And then we stopped over and they say, why don't you stay for the winter? And we said, yes, please.
Well, as Scotty Satori says, my favorite jam band. So it's great to have you back with us. We've missed you both, but it's wonderful to have you with us. And what are you going to play for us with this first song?
Well, tonight, this one is called Shades of Alex Grey, the great Alex.
Alex has been on my show. He and his wife, Allison.
Oh, that's wonderful. They're wonderful. We met them when they came to Vancouver a couple of years ago. And this song is inspired by them. And hope you like it. Shades of Alex Gray. Woohoo!
All right, thank you.
Can you put it back to 11 again? How does that sound?
Sounds good. Sounds good.
It's time for loving connections. It's time for love revolution. It's time to raise our vibration. Time for ascension. Millions and millions of enmeshed vibration. We are here to uplift this world. So here we are, millions and millions of enmeshed vibration. It's a cosmic possibility of evolution to ascend and disconnect. More loving hearts. What are we here for? What are we here? But to raise our vibration, to bring heaven on earth. Loving, love evolution, love evolution. Let's all sing together all around the world. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. It's time to uplift this world. It's time to uplift high vibration. The possibility to live heaven on earth. That's why we are here for. In a collective, ongoing reality. Because of you, because of me. We are the love evolution. loving connection for heaven on earth. I see you, I see me, I see we all are here to raise and bring our love to unity, the human race to the sun, for all of us to be living in harmony. So why are we here to evolve, to love? It's a possibility, it's a creativity, it's ongoing, it is a happening, it is so beautiful to raise our loving vibration. Let there be peace on earth. Let there be love. Let there be you and me shining in the sun. Om Namah Shivaya. Sing with me, my darling. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Sing your song. For peace on earth, for here it is in my heart. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. We are happy. Om Namah Shivaya.
Thank you for taking us on such a beautiful journey. Just so beautiful. Oh, we've missed you. And I see so many people who are just so delighted to have you back. Definitely make sure you read the chat box. And hey, everybody, we can get their music. They've got 3 albums available on Bandcamp. I've put the link into the chat box, but for those of you watching on Facebook, if you go to Bandcamp, they are the Mystiques. You find them as the Mystiques 1111. And their Awaken 1111 album is quite appropriate since yesterday was 1111. And I have that album. It's a beautiful album. So definitely get the Mystiques, Fanny and Vagary. And they're going to lead and they are the perfect, of all the musicians that have ever played with us, you're always my favorite one to do the closing song because it's like a lullaby that just puts us into that winding down time. So Omashar got us all pumped up and you wind us down perfectly. So we'll look forward to seeing you at the close of the show. Thank you so much. I really have enjoyed my time at the Illuminate Film Festival. It's been really fun. I love doing the panels. But the best part is the people I meet. And I met 2 amazing women. They're like big hearts with legs. And they also happen to make an amazing film. So to introduce these two ladies to you, I'm going to go back to my co-host, a co-pilot, Danette, to tell us all about Dana and her partner. And
so
everybody, I muted them. Okay.
There we go.
There we go.
Yes. So, you know, we couldn't get enough of these two. We had them on last week, and they were also just their presence just literally just wrapped the whole festival like in a big love bubble. And every single person who met them were just blown away by them. And I was no exception. You know, when I first saw their film and I met them, there's just something absolutely irresistible about them and their vision for you know, this story and for the future stories that they plan to tell. And what was so exciting about it was that this was really their first film. And they had never been to a film festival before. They had no idea what to expect. You know, I even said, okay, so, you know, you guys get a hotel room while you're here. And I remember Dana going, what? You know, and, you know, that's, I mean, for a lot of film festivals that can make that happen, you know, that can be pretty typical, but she was just so in gratitude for everything. And, you know, Chrisanna is not new to the camera, but this was her first feature length film. And, you know, very often first time filmmakers, you know, struggle with story arc or things like that when you go from short films to feature length. And she really did a masterful job. And I just knew that they have and have a wonderful future as conscious filmmakers. So I would like to introduce the director, Chrisanna Sexton, and the producer and subject of the film, Dana Crochier.
Thank you so much, Danette. Your words just mean so much. I mean, especially with all the films that you see. And I think I still feel like I'm having an out-of-body experience with all of this. But yeah, I just really appreciate you believing in us and featuring Love Heals.
So let's get right into it, right? Let's get right into the story of the film. I know that Dana, you know, had some health issues, and obviously this film kind of came out of that. So can you start with the beginning of your story and then why Chrisanna picked up a camera?
Yeah, thank you so much, Danette. Just hearing you talk about our experience with the film festival, I think we're still buzzing from our time in Sedona a week later. So thank you again for having us. My chronic pain journey started in 2017, and it was shortly after I actually met Chrisanna. And it was just an injury at first, I thought, running on a treadmill, pulled a muscle, you know, nothing out of the ordinary. And that just spiraled over the years. It never really healed. And, you know, doctor after doctor, I tried everything under the sun. I never, ever wanted to do anything as extreme as surgery. And it just, through the chain of events and a lot of stressful things, it just got worse and worse. And so in 2020, during COVID, I ended up having my first spine surgery, which ended up injuring me pretty badly. They nicked my spinal column and I had a really bad spinal fluid leak. And then I ended up 6 weeks later back in emergency surgery. So these were deemed two very unsuccessful spine surgeries that left me much worse off than before. So began the healing journey. There was a lot to process during that time. And Chrisanna, at some point in time, just organically started picking up her camera and saying, hey, can I film some of this? Because I don't know where this journey is taking you, but I'd really like to have a camera in hand if something miraculous happens. Because at the time we really couldn't see the end, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel. It was such a dark time for us. So coincidentally or not, about a year after my surgery, Chrisanna was asked to create a film about healing. using some ancient wisdom and mind-body practices. And when we went to the meeting the first time, I just tagged along. You know, I was on leave of absence from these surgeries. I worked in corporate America in the financial area my, last 16 years of my life. And I was just there. And the executive producer asked, what is your story? And, we explained that to him. And Chrisanna's like, yeah, I've been kind of watching her journey through my lens. And so I became the protagonist in that moment. We never anticipated that really being the case. And it just really worked out perfectly. So they followed my journey. I went through incredible healing experiences in Sedona. And we took 18 other people on that journey with me through immersive retreat experiences to teach them a lot of mind-body practices and mindset, and helping myself and others release some stored trauma and other things that were holding them back from having a really incredible environment in their bodies to feel healed and whole. So that's how Love Heals began.
So Chrisanna, what was going on in your mind then?
When I started filming?
Yeah.
I think that I just thought maybe it would give me some hope. It felt like we were never gonna, it was like the darkness would never end. When things were dark, it just got worse or something else would happen. It was just this incredible series of events. And so I thought, this is so heavy and dark. I think if I film it, maybe there will be a point in the future where I can look back and say, oh, we've actually made progress. Oh, it's actually gotten better. So I think that was the intention. But of course, there were moments that felt so sacred that I didn't pick up the camera. It was very interesting to try to even learn when was appropriate and when wasn't.
So obviously, folks, out there haven't been able to see it yet. Only the folks who have been to the in-person. But we are very excited that you have both agreed to show the film online at an Illuminate virtual global screening in January. So we're very excited about that. And I know all of you out there, audience, you're itching. We've gotten a lot of people that, where can we see it? When can we see it? When is it going to be available to all of us? So we do our best to try to make things available globally when the time is right. So can you share a little bit what it was like to go to your first film festival?
Okay, I'll go first. So it was incredible. I felt like the first event was, I think I told you, Jeanette, like, I don't know how I think we're being spoiled or something. I don't know how we're going to be able to go to any other film festival and not like have these really high expectations. But I think more than anything else, it was the quality of human beings. And I say that with a filter, because I think every human matters, like every human is important. But what was really special about Illuminate, it's like it attracts the kind of humans that I would like to be, creating films with, or getting to know, or, elevating the projects that they're working on and that sort of thing. So for me, it was every conversation just felt like it mattered. And it felt like also people were walking around very heart forward. And of course, there's some people not, but the majority of the humans there were just the kind of people that I wanted to get to know better. And I found myself in awe. I actually felt a little bit like an imposter. Like even when I would say, oh, I'm a filmmaker, it took me a little bit to have some confidence in that. And it's just such a warm, inviting energy that was surrounding the space. But I think even like Ama's Way, for example, that film directly touched my soul and deeply impacted me. So I don't know, I could go on, but it was just a really amazing experience. And I'm already emailing several people that I met. I have some projects that I'm like talking to some people that I met about and getting ideas from them. So yeah, I can't even wait till next year. I'm like, I'll be there every year for sure.
Well, we would love you to make a film every single year. So Dana, what were your big takeaways, and how, if at all, has Illuminate helped the film?
Oh, so many ways. First of all, I'm our producer, so we will make a film every year for you. No problem. That's just a joke because Chrisanna's like, I'm sorry, what did you say our next project's going to be and when is it going to be done? But I think it's because leaving the film festival, we have so much energy around what happened and how many people were so excited to see our film just in talking with us. And then on Sunday to have 2 sold out theaters and people, I think one of the biggest things for me was being the observer of people watching our film and how it impacted them in this film festival setting. And then to go up on stage and have the opportunity to do a Q&A and share our hearts so vulnerably and authentically and feel that it was received so well. And people coming up to us after talking about how deeply impacted they were by our film or by my story, or maybe somebody else's story, because we were able to include so many humans on a healing journey for a variety of reasons. And people are like, gosh, I could see myself in your film, even if they couldn't resonate with what I was experiencing. And I think that just meant the world to me because my pain has a purpose now. My journey is changing the lives of human beings who lost hope. So for me to be a witness of that was like, I think Chrisanna said an out-of-body experience. I was having the same feeling like, what is happening right now? And as a result of the film festival, there are 2 things that I would say are my greatest takeaways. And one of them is the camaraderie of filmmakers. So we're the new kids on the block. This is our first film. I mean, we got such an incredible response, but what is so touching to me is that other filmmakers and people in the industry that we are brand new to in this space anyway, we're so caring and genuinely like wanting us to succeed and wanting to help us or mentor us in ways that, I mean, I was just in awe over how much people cared about us, about our film, and how to help us continue to have success in this space. So that was the first one. And the second thing was people are still reaching out to us after the film festival is long over, at least our portion of it, and just so excited about our film, saying really kind words. What are our next projects? How can they be of service to us? How can we collaborate? And this has changed my life, or I now have hope, or I'm experiencing relief for the first time. I mean, it's just remarkable. And then on top of it, I felt like an absolute rock star because you guys put on such a great festival and you treat everybody so well and create experiences that will literally be a memory that I hang on to for the rest of my life. So you created so many beautiful firsts for us as filmmakers and as attendees of this film festival. And I live in a lot of gratitude for this. So thank you.
I'd like to ask you now, kind of shift a little bit to the beautiful personal part of this. So in case our audience hasn't figured it out yet, Chrisanna and Dana are also a couple, and a beautiful couple. And you know, because this is the awakening world and we share on a very intimate level about life, I'd love to just hear from each of you what it's been like as beloveds going through this journey.
Go ahead, Love.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute. Thank you for that question, Scott. I think that Dana she's such a wordsmith, so she's going to be able to put words around this better than me. But every morning we eat breakfast together. It's kind of our sacred time. And we try to put words around this experience. But I think if you had asked, sorry. I think if you'd asked me 2.5 years ago when Dana was laying in our living room and she couldn't walk and she couldn't move, and I thought, you know, this is just getting worse and worse. If you'd asked us, like, you know, what do you think, what good could come of this? I wouldn't have had an answer. And after the last event of the film festival, a man in his 50s came up to me, and when he had tears in his eyes, and he just said, Chrisanna, at the Q&A, when you asked us to say, I love you to ourselves, I said, just say, I love you. I love you. And he's like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And now I'd like to go on that journey to figure out how I can love myself. And so I think that's it. Like, you know, when Dana and I have these talks about, man, it's just remarkable to see how our pain and especially her suffering brought us here. What it did was it brought us back home. It brought us back to this place of like, where do I find hope and love within? Because it's not working, seeking it externally. And yeah, I don't even know that I'm putting words around that, but I think when that man said that to me, I thought, this is everything. I don't even care if the film wins any more awards. I don't care if any other human sees it. I mean, I want more humans to see it, but if the film was made just for that one man to go on a journey of self-love, that's it. So Dana's a superstar for me. She's the magic. I just have the privilege of capturing the magic of her journey. But yeah, I don't know. That just like touched a deep part inside.
Your emotions are so welcome. So thank you for sharing the love. That's, when you were having that moment, we could just feel your love, and it's a high point of the show for me, right? Whenever we can see love in action, it's a beautiful modeling. So thank you, Krisanna, for modeling love in such a beautiful way.
Thank you.
Dana, you got a tough act to follow there.
Oh, but I have something so profound to share, because this topic, Scott, is really big for us. I will never forget the day Krisanna went to our other producer and said, I feel deeply that I need to be in the film. And this was my journey as well as a caretaker. And we were terrified to show our love on the big screen. The truth is, Krisanna fought that. 95% of the film was done and she wasn't even in it yet. And so it was because of that fear. And we got like some really powerful encouragement from the other producer to say, this story is authentic. And this story is, your love is part of it. Yeah. So I will share with you that the first time a group of humans saw this film, like only the one time we've ever had a screening when Danette actually saw the film, there was a man that was so deeply impacted, and he didn't say these words. His wife actually came up to me after and said, I'm so grateful that you showed your love to the world, because the world needs it. And my husband was not open to the LGBTQ community prior to this. Like it was not a safe space for him. He was not like okay with that. And he watched your film and it literally broke him wide open, full of love and acceptance for the love that you two shared in this film. And I can't even tell you what that meant to us. He hugged us so many times. We went to breakfast at the coffee pot the next morning and they were there coincidentally and paid for our breakfast and hugged us. He hugged us so many times. And I was like, oh my gosh, to let fear stop us from showing that would have been literally just devastating. And so thank you for the question, Scott, because the love that is shared on the screen is so real and so genuine. We are just, what we experienced together brought us closer than we've ever been. And now to see the impact that it's having on others and opening up the hearts of people to accept the love that we share, regardless of us being in a same-sex relationship, is just beautiful. And I think it was time. So thank you.
You've brought tears to my eyes. And it's true. I had the pleasure of having lunch with you, and you two are a beautiful couple. You're a really beautiful, beautiful couple. And our world needs modeling like this. And I also want to acknowledge, because of my work as a coach, I work a lot, and because my wife passed away, a lot of times people come to me when they get the diagnosis, my husband has cancer or whatever. And so I do a lot of work with people that are going through hard stuff. And honestly, I always make a point to give as much attention to the caretaker as I can, because the patient is getting all the love and the adoration, and in the kitchen or in the bathroom, the caretaker's cleaning the mess and making the food and, doing all the stuff. And so I really want to acknowledge you, Krisanna, because from my perspective, it was your love for your beloved. That was the great healing journey. And it's important for us to see that, and especially for us to see it as two women. So thank you.
Thank you.
And since all three of us are in tears, I'll bring that up.
I'm in tears. Don't call me out of that tear ball game.
Yeah.
Thank you, Scott. Means a lot.
Thank you. Well, you know, just a reminder to everyone watching, let's just do our very best to, when we have a prejudice, when we have a fear, let's get curious. You know, when something is different than the way we were raised or what we were taught with, and we notice the prejudice, we notice the judgment, we can always replace that with curiosity. And that's how we heal the world. That's how we transform, is by choosing curiosity over our biases, over our prejudice, over our judgment. And again, thank you so much for this beautiful moment on the show and for modeling this for us. Thank you. Well, I think on the agenda is The Sound of Us. So we're going to go to a trailer, which will give us a chance to get our voices back. Chrisana, Dana, so much love. Thank you. And Danette, I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit about The Sound of Us.
So The Sound of Us is really all about vibration, right? And, you know, just the conversation we had just, you know, really lifted our vibration, you know, into the frequency of love. And, you know, healing our hearts and, you know, through Dana and Chrisana. And this next trailer is about how music can do that for us. And the film is an extraordinary exploration of the power of music, not only to heal, but also to unify. Yeah, I'm not going to say much more because I want you to see it. Roll the trailer.
If I were to fall in love with an element.
Oops, wrong trailer.
Whoops.
We want The Sound of Love.
The sound
The Sound of Us. I'm so out of my body after what we just experienced, to be honest.
We get it, Scott. We get it.
Music to me is
I don't even understand it sometimes, how it happens.
Music is the great equalizer in life.
All of our programming came to a screeching halt.
It's hard to stay in your old life, waiting for it to resume when old life might not come back anytime soon.
I heard people that were, you know, going to get jobs driving for Uber Eats.
Forests have been burned down, but up are going to sprout these beautiful green shoots.
I believe that the musician understood more and better than others that it's time to save humanity.
Smile through your heart.
Amazing.
Music is nothing but communication.
Because what I just want to do every day is hope.
It's redemption.
It's a beautiful thing.
Music is life, love,
Light.
Honest. Makes us feel known.
tradition.
And it just feels like home.
We are part of a collective humanity.
Music chooses you.
Is an opportunity to have a conversation.
It's a miracle on every level.
Whatever music needs to be for you to be better, let it be that.
We all hurt, we all cry, we all laugh,
and we all hum a tune or two.
Music made me who I am. It contains the essence of the human soul, one could say.
It's the most powerful thing we have that makes us human. That's life, and that's music.
What is music? What is music to you?
You know, that's the third time I've watched that trailer, and every time I have the same experience. It is one of the best edited trailers I've ever seen in my life. The editing is just extraordinary, really extraordinary.
And that same feeling that we get from that trailer, you get every once in a while in the film, actually. So bring your tissues again, because it has these crescendos. It brings you to tears, and then, you know, it takes you down into the soothing, and then it brings you back up into like this crescendo and this, you know, so the editing is spectacular, and the storytelling, whew, I mean, you will get to meet people like Corey, a man named Corey, who is an inmate, and, you know, it's his story and it's his healing story. And, you know, you just feel for Corey, right? Because there's a program called Project Music Heals Us, and they go into the prisons and, you know, they try to rehabilitate, right? Or inmates really try and rehabilitate themselves. And so, you know, that part is very powerful. And then at the Q&A, on Thursday night, at the live Q&A, we had Chris Jarrow, who is this, you know, incredible award-winning director, and he's nominated for 12 Grammys or something like that. You know, he's a music producer, works with Sarah McLachlan, you know, lots of A-listers. And he was there. And then the two people, Molly Carr and Andrew Jans, who play music for Project Music Heals Us, were there. So that alone was epic. But then nobody knew this, but Corey showed up. And they had not seen Corey or heard of Corey. He got out of jail, and he showed up, and they were even blown away. And they said, well, Corey, how are you doing? And he basically tributes his entire elevated frequency and state of well-being from the music that they played while he was incarcerated. So, you know, it's really just the magic, you know, coming through these films. And I welcome you to be a part of that experience. It's all recorded and it's online and available.
Wow. Well, we're going to go to Michael Sandler in a moment. And for that, I'm going to bring Andrew up. Michael was a big part of this wonderful movie called Facing Fear, which I had the honor to moderate the Q&A. And watching Michael in the movie and then meeting him, he is a force of nature, clearly, and has been a very inspirational force for many people. So I'm going to bring Michael up. And Andrew, I would love for you to tell us a little bit about Facing Fear and a little bit about Michael.
Sure. So Facing Fear, it was one of our physical screenings. It screened actually a week from today, last week, Saturday. And it is about one man's global journey to discover how best to manage fear. It's a documentary film. And as Bill, the protagonist, who's also the director of the film, goes on this journey, he encounters and seeks out a number of experts, including spiritual leaders, wisdom teachers, trauma experts. It's quite a nice balance of spiritual knowledge and scientific knowledge. And they all kind of weigh in on the topic of fear. Like, what is fear? How do we combat fear? How do we combat trauma? So it's a very personal documentary. And we had the pleasure of having Michael join us for that screening. It was not only a screening, but also one of our Luminary Living Room workshop programs. So in addition to the screening and a very well-rounded Q&A, there was also a workshop component. There was a screening component and then a post-workshop component. So it was a very big program. And Michael here is actually, if you don't know, Michael's the host of Inspire Nation, which is a podcast, and it's dedicated to bringing in top authors and experts and all sort of spiritual masters and wisdom teachers and having them kind of provide motivation and advice to Michael's audience. And he came in quite last minute. So I am curious about your journey with this film, Michael, right? It's a little bit different than Chrisana and Dana, who are filmmakers. In this particular instance, we had a filmmaker who is creating this film and somehow came across you and for whatever reason decided to include you in the film and your expertise. So I would kind of like if you could provide us some insight into that. How did you meet up with Bill, the director, and Jennifer and really get involved in Facing Fear? Because it's a totally different perspective.
Thank you, Andrew. So a few years ago, I had met Bill Bennett through his movie PGS, Personal Guidance System. And it was an absolute brilliant movie. We struck off a friendship from there. And we discussed his path in life. And we discussed my path on life, which involves quite a few licks and bruises, you could say, and several near-death experiences. And so when he told me he was going to be making this movie, Facing Fear, he asked if we can include a little bit of my journey of kind of, I bring, we could say, a special energy to things that I participate in and things that I do, and an energy that really helps shift other people's energy. And he was wondering, but Michael, you've been smacked down so much. You've faced this, you faced that. Where is this energy coming from? And I think he wanted to explore that with me. And when he put the camera on, he felt something special. I'm pausing because I can step back as I've done over 2,000 video shows. So I'm not a filmmaker, but I've done over 2,000 video shows for our Inspire Nation show. So I can step back the aperture and see myself talking to you. And I'm going, wow, these are really bold things that you're saying. But he could see something through the message of what I was sharing that was very powerful for people. And I was very humbled by what he was saying, and honored to be a part of it, and honored to share that. You know, I asked my wife, Jessica, who's my everything. And I asked her a couple of days ago when I was live on air, I said, Jessica, I said, do I have fear? And she yelled as I'm live, you know, before several thousand people, "You're a scaredy cat." And I said, all right, truth be told, I'm a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. I am as scared of the best of them. I still step forward. and therein lies the rub, and something that I can share, which is I'm not going to say in this beautiful documentary in Facing Fear, I'm going to be the last person to say, if you're courageous, you don't have fear. That just isn't my milieu, my way of being. So I was honored to be a part of it and share my journey, or what I could for Bill. I'd do anything for Bill. What an amazing, that film, the way he tells that arc, his eye for detail, for sound, for what he did with a drone and filming it in Tasmania was beyond mind-blowing. And then bringing it back certainly isn't about me or in a sense about any of the other guests who he helps us to share the message that he's trying to get out, which is so incredibly powerful, about being empowered by facing fear. He does such a brilliant job with it.
Absolutely. I'm curious, throughout this experience, has your own relationship to fear been changed? Because not only were you a participant in the film, you were also a participant in the screening experience. So you participated in the Q&A, the post-screening discussion, and you also experienced the workshop components. And I'm wondering, collectively, taking all that into consideration, has your relationship with fear changed in any way, whether it be, you know, something larger or even something small?
You know, it's a brilliant question, Andrew. I got to do a hike. I'd only been in town for like 4 hours. I showed up like 2 o'clock in the morning, and there was this buzz, this hum of Sedona by 5:30. And I'm like, oh, I can't sleep. And the next thing you know, I'm hiking up Cathedral Rock, and I left, I wrote a bestseller a long time ago, Barefoot Running, with my wife. Mm-hmm. And I left my hiking sandals back in New Jersey. I'm not going to have time to hike. And so I had these slick sandals with me because I'm not going to be hiking. And here I am on Cathedral Rock. And for anybody who's ever done it, it gets pretty steep. And I hike up to the top. I sit for sunrise. And then I go to come down, and I'm realizing that it was nearly a year ago where I was out training on my bicycle on Jessica's birthday when I got hit by a car and didn't come home. And she got a call from the police through my cell phone, something you never want to have your wife pregnant with twins receive a call like that. I'm coming down the hill, a very steep hill, and there's a couple in front of me. And I hear the gentleman say to his partner, "Trust your boots." And there was something really profound in that went right back to the Illuminate Film Festival. Trust your boots, which my theme on the way down became trust your sandals. But there was this level of trust. And I think for everybody who was there at the film festival, there is this level of trust in what I'm putting forward, in what I'm saying, in what I'm doing, in how I'm presenting to the world, that I'm meant to be here, or I have been, you know, we think we're on our own personal journey, but there's like a giant marionette in the sky. We can call it source, love, giant cheeseburger in the sky. You know, it's a great pumpkin, Charlie Brown, but there is something or this energy helping guide us. And if we trust that, like we trust our sandals or our boots on the downhill, it's going to carry us someplace so much further than we can imagine. So I was getting that out of the film festival. And as I was telling Chrisana and Dana at breakfast, I was saying this is a Tumblr moment. And I think it's a Tumblr moment for many of us. What's a Tumblr moment? It is, if you ever watch like a safe cracking movie, you know, they're you know, dialing the thing and you're hearing the tumblers fall into place. For so many of us involved with Illuminate on any level, and I'm guessing if I flip the camera on you, Andrew, it was for you too, things fell into place because of it that now will shift our forward direction and momentum. So flipping the camera, wouldn't you agree or would you disagree, Andrew?
I would certainly agree for sure. Definitely. But speaking of the Illuminate experience, I am curious to hear a little bit about more about your experience, because it was, again, different from our other two participants that we heard from earlier in the program, in the sense that they were there for the entire physical events. And I just have to set the scene for the audience. So Michael came on board to participating in the Q&A post-program a little bit late in the game. It was like maybe like a week and a half before the actual festival. So, and I am also on the East Coast. So Michael is flying out to Phoenix, which is like a 4.5 to 5 hour flight. Then you have to drive 2 to 2.5 hours from Phoenix to Sedona. And you got in very late on Friday. And I think you were at the festival probably not even 48 hours, not even a full 48 hours before you had to head back home. And of course, the Facing Fear screening was an early screening. It was, because it was quite a robust program. So I'm curious, you got a lot accomplished, I feel like, in the time you were there. I kept like seeing you as, I was running around to other events and, shuttling filmmakers off. And I felt bad because I was like, we were connecting, but we didn't really have an opportunity to connect the way I would like to. So I'm just curious, like, what are some takeaways from your Illuminate experience and the connections you made? Because it was, very fast for you.
Magic Festival of Homies. How's that?
I like that a lot.
You could connect. Anybody's running through the sponsor who maybe he is the key sponsor from Ibiza.
Giancarlo.
Giancarlo.
Yes, Mongo TV.
So I've got all these titanium parts in me, and I just qualified for the World Championships in swimming and cycling to be held in Ibiza in May. And so Giancarlo's is running past me. And because everybody to me is a homie there, you could just jump in front of somebody, no matter who they are, and say hi, and they get you. Everybody there got everybody else. Everybody was so open, was so loving, was so magical. You just sit around a table at a meal, or what do they call it? The healthy happy hour. And all of a sudden you're swapping stories, serious, deep stories of loss, of love, of speaking with loved ones on the other side of the veil. These stories there, anywhere else, if you had these stories, people would think you're nuts, and there'd be like, scooting back at the table. You've just met these people, and you're sharing stories as if you've been together your whole lives. And that was the energy at Illuminate 3's thing. Yes, I was sleepwalking through half of it. I came with no agenda. I left, mission accomplished, no agenda. It was fun. It was love. I got myself out for the sunrise both mornings that was there. I did stumble around at the late night event on Saturday night going, why am I here? Stumble back to the room, got up the next morning, saw a beautiful sunrise. Somewhere in my camera, I have a photo of a coyote that joined me on the trail. It was pure magic. And then on a personal note, as this was in a sense like Dana, like Rosanna, this was my first time, at least, seeing myself on the big screen. I've done some pretty cool things. I'm going to probably do a lot more cool things. It wasn't an ego-driven moment. I can't say ego was like, oh, look at me on the big screen. I didn't have that thought at all. It was just a ka-tung of wow, something's coming out of this. And I think for everyone there, because the one thing that we are all starting to learn and understand is it doesn't matter how many people see the note that you play or that you sing. We all have a note. We're all part of this symphony of humanity. And as we play our own individual notes, the harmony goes up and up to a new octave, higher and higher and higher. Every single person there, every single person here tonight, and everybody who is going to be affected, and if we're honest, infected by the energy we are bringing forth because of Illuminate, because we are all together. We are having such a dramatic impact with the individual notes that we play. And I think people at Illuminate started to recognize that. And I think whether you're watching Ama's Way or any beautiful, beautiful movie here, you left empowered to sing your music a little more, to do a little more, to be a little bit more. And for that, I will forever be grateful, ever be grateful for this. And thank you, Danette. I am looking straight at you.
I have never heard a testimonial that moved me like this. Honestly, we worked so hard. Our whole team works all year round to create this experience, honor these filmmakers, honor these stories. And we do it all for what, you just shared with us. So just wow. Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Danette. Thank you, everyone there.
And Michael, you could be on The Awakening World, probably every other show that we do, because of your background. We do shows on near-death experiences. We do shows on mystics. In fact, one of the people that's in the audience right now, Jerry Anderson, is the monk of the Mystic Monastery, a 10,000-acre ecclesiastic nation in Puerto Rico. So there's a lot of ways that you really kind of fit in with the awakening world. So I'm going to briefly go to your website, and I want to ask you to just share with our audience a little bit about what you do, because this is our thing. For those of you who can't see it, at the top of his website, which is inspirenationuniversity.com, inspirenationuniversity.com, he says, I'm here to help you raise your vibration, elevate your consciousness, and shift your life to a whole new level. Like, dude, that's what this whole show is about. So tell us about your work, and obviously we can find out more at the website, but tell us about what you're doing.
Well, and thank you so much, Scott. The two big things that I do, and yes, my personal mission statement is raise people's vibration, elevate consciousness, shift humanity, which is exactly what everyone here is doing and exactly what you're doing, Scott. My mission and its essence, you know, if I was to use popular culture, I'd say it's to break free of the matrix. It's to become a mystic. A mystic is someone living on both sides of the veil. We have a job to do while we're here. We're here on an earth school. We're here to learn. We're here to grow. But it's also not a job to walk around in a state of collective amnesia. It's not a job to be here on earth forgetting who and what we are. And so I'm on a mission, and I have a school of mystics where I teach people. And who's a mystic, or who's a mystic in training? It's everybody here. It's an empath. It's somebody who's energetically sensitive. Maybe you've been told you're too sensitive, which is actually your mystic super skills in latency until we bring them out. And so I help people to rediscover the magic that they're capable of. I call a mystic someone who can see without eyes, hear without ears, know without thought. So I help you to live in both worlds at the same time. And I have a book, The Automatic Writing Experience. I teach people how to communicate with spirits, with angels, with guides, with elders. Around one of these tables that I sat down with, it was talking about how we communicate with loved ones who've crossed over. My wife was pregnant with twins last year at this time on her birthday. Well, a few weeks later, we lost one of those twins. We actually had to choose to let go of her for our other twin to survive. Oh. And yet I watched her ascend, which is a miracle. And then I could communicate with her on the other side. And you can teach people how to do this, Scott. Mm-hmm. It's the craziest thing. For 4 or 5 years, I fought spirit saying, you're going to write a book on automatic writing. I'm like, you got the wrong guy. But you can do this. And so I want to teach everybody how we can live connected to spirit, living a spirit-driven life, living in communion, meaning continuous conversation with spirit 24/7. And I see Dana holding her heart, my baby girl Miracle on the other side of the veil. She takes over each and every one of my automatic writing sessions and says, give me the mic. Here's what I want to tell you, Daddy. And it is so, so cool.
Oh. Well, definitely. I would love to have you come back on the show. I'm next doing connecting to the other side. My wife died in my arms, but my experience was similar to yours. As she left, I had the simultaneous experience, her last breath, of my sadness that she was leaving, mm-hmm. and feeling her incredible liberation of being out of the body and being in that connected state. And it is the veils are getting thinner and thinner.
Yes.
And more of us are learning how to do these through modeling. Just like, we saw beautiful modeling of female for female love. You're modeling how to stay connected and to go beyond the tragedy. There's nothing more tragic than losing a child. That's like the absolute hardest thing. And how you transcend the tragedy. And actually, you have this incredible partner on the other side. It's power. So I really want us to do a whole spend time talking about that.
I'd be honored. Thank you, Scott. And all my love, all my love, all my love. We can, as a last note, we can talk and say, you know, these are gifts, these are this or that, but loss is loss is loss.
Yeah.
And never for anyone would make light of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's finding that balance of empathy. The word I like is bittersweet. It's bitter that my wife is gone. And it's so sweet that I miss her that much, because the sweetness is the love that never dies.
Yeah. And I guess that's my baby Hannah, who is one of the two identical twins. You know, how cool would it be to have the two of them there? But I've got the one and I've got the other on the other side.
Mm. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Scott.
Well, we're going to go to a little music so we can integrate all of this. And we've heard what your request. We are going to show the Love Heals trailer. But let me find Omashar and turn things over to him.
Ooh. So humbled by tonight's content. I'm moved in a way that has actually brought me really into my body. And I'm so grateful for all the stories and the sharings and the love. And Michael, the way you articulate is phenomenal. It just speaks right through me into that which is not in the matrix. And so thank you. Thank you so much. There are no words for this. So I'm going to play this song and I'm going to dedicate it to Celine. And it's called Distant Light. And it's an ambient song. It's not a rocking song. So I'm glad my spirit guide said, this is the one for now. And we're just going to do something here. We're going to do this.
While you're doing that, I'll pull up a picture of Celine again. Then this is, for anybody who came in late, our beloved friend Celine, who left her body 2 days ago.
Breath. Distant light, and soul is yearning. Distant light, worlds converging. Love in our hearts keeps us flowing. And light in our minds, spirit emerging, moving on through all the troubles, letting them go. Life unravels, homeward we travel. Homeward we travel. And we're not alone on this blue-green planet, nurturing souls, here to assist us, and seeds that we sow
what we hold. We're here to serve, we're here to serve, and moving on through all the trouble, letting them go. Life unravels, homeward we travel. Homeward we travel. Moving on through all the troubles, letting them go. Life unravels, homeward we travel, homeward we travel.
What a perfect song. And again, thank you for dedicating it to sleep.
I'm just so moved, and every expression tonight has just taken me deeper into my heart. And the more I dare to keep it open, the more alive I feel. So thank you all.
Thank you, Omashar. Thank you so much for all that you bring to our show every night, every show, 3 shows a week. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank
My
you.
pleasure.
Well, before we get to the what was next on the agenda, we're going to go to the Love Heals trailer. After listening to Dana and Kasana, people are just like, can we see the trailer? Can we see the trailer? So I'm bringing Dana and Kasana back up, and I'm going to bring Danette back up. And oh, what the heck? Let's bring up Andrew. Let's make it a party. Who has anything you want to share about the trailer, like putting it together, or what we're about to see? Anybody?
Cried when these women came on.
Remember to mute people.
Who are
Somebody
you asking, Scott? You're asking Dana and Chrisana, yes?
Yeah, if anybody wants to offer just an introduction to the trailer itself.
Yeah, I'll just share that it was incredible to put it together, because I actually put it together before the film was complete, and there was like 150 hours of footage, and yeah, so I just felt like I was guided in what moments I was selecting that would cause people to maybe even start to have some hope, or maybe even start to ask some questions in their own healing journey. So yeah, I don't know what else there is to say, except I hope you enjoy it.
Okay, I'm pulling it up right now. And remember, everybody watching, to please keep yourselves muted. Here we go with the Love Heals trailer.
I'm Chrisana, and I'm a filmmaker. My partner Dana and I have been together 4 years, and throughout our relationship, Dana has suffered with chronic pain. After going from doctor to doctor, trying desperately to find answers, in 2020, she had 2 spine surgeries. When the spine surgeries failed to bring her relief, I began documenting her journey. I believed for a miracle and wanted to have a camera in hand when it happened. Then I was asked to create a documentary on healing to show how an ancient principle that's been known for 10,000 years was the secret to health. I wondered, how has this ancient principle helped so many heal? And can it help Dana too? And so began our journey.
스스로
자기의 건강은 자기가 지켜야 되고 근데 그러한 그 각성이 됐다 해도 방법을 모르면 안 된다.
I know a body can do miraculous things, but I just didn't know how to tap into it. I don't know what's missing in my life.
Why am I trying so hard? Why am I suffering so much?
I kept telling myself that I could do this on my own, but I can't. I need help.
I have nothing else. So I had to get to a place where I was ready to heal.
So pain is a signal of protection. And the question is, from what?
Illness and pain are symptoms that you're not living in harmony and that you should be dealing with the symptom not as the problem, but as a message that says, do something else.
Go inside and then find that thing that you're looking for all your life.
All of a sudden I could walk. The pain left my body and I could walk just fine.
I've been in chronic pain for like 10 years, and this is the first time that I can remember not even thinking about my knee.
I know we have the answers here, and I know that we can heal ourselves. Now I believe it a little bit more.
This journey woke me up. In the deepest pain and the darkest days, it allowed me to access something within myself that I wouldn't have otherwise.
Thank you for sharing the story that you had shot 95% of the film before adding Chrisana, and then of course Sana narrating the trailer. So it helps me to imagine the full circle of your journey, Chrisana, of your participation, not just as the filmmaker, obviously, but as an active participant.
Yeah, I was really hitting a wall creatively until I accepted that I needed to be part of it. So then it all started to come together. Heaven had its way.
Isn't that amazing? It's so important just learning to listen to our wise heart and going beyond the fear. Again, thank you so much. Before we move on to Marianne Williamson, Andrew, Danette, anything you'd like to share?
I just want to acknowledge Danette. I mean, you know, this festival wouldn't be here without her. She's one of the hardest working people I know. You know, she's a real treat to work with as well. You know, she has high expectations and she pushes her team to meet those expectations, but it's also like really fun working with her. Like we laugh in all our meetings all the time. It's just like, you know, us giggling the entire time. People are probably like, how do they get any work done? But we do, I promise. So yeah, I would just want to acknowledge to what she's brought into the world and all the lives she's touched. I think tonight is a real testament to the spirit of Illuminate. We've had a lot of personal sharing here tonight, and I'm appreciative of that sharing, but that's what Illuminate is about, right? And so I just want to say thank you to Danette.
Yeah.
Wow, Andrew, thank you. And I'll really quickly share what I did on last Saturday night, which was our opening night film, which is that this is the final Illuminate for me as executive director. After really, this has been a 10-year journey for me. And so now I feel like we are ready to move Illuminate to the next level. We are Illuminate as a teenager. And it's time for Illuminate to blossom into an adult world. So we are planning to create a new structure with a big board of people who are all going to become stewards and champions of conscious media, so that, you know, we can grow and take advantage of all these incredible opportunities that are coming our way, and we can expand our infrastructure. So it was also a bittersweet moment for me, because this has been literally my baby. I literally did not have a child because I had this child. And, you know, it's a hard thing to then place in other people's hands. But if anything, I have learned, you know, throughout Illuminate to surrender to divine design and know that my baby is going to be safe out there in the world, held and nurtured by the next champions. And I'll be along for the ride. I'll be on the board. I'll be there, of course. But I wanted to ensure that Illuminate lives a long, long, long life.
Mm. So just really acknowledging what we just heard, that Danette, you're going to be turning the teenager over to, you'll be still an auntie, but not necessarily mama.
Exactly. Want to make sure that Illuminate doesn't start and end with me, right? It's time to make sure that Illuminate is 100% sustainable. So that's where I step back, and I invite all of you, if you feel passionate about conscious media and you want to contribute, you want to be on a board, you want to, maybe you feel qualified for an executive level position, or somebody who is and does, we welcome you all. Please contact me. I'm at Danette@IlluminateFilmFestival.com. And, I embrace all community contributions, because again, this is really being held up and nurtured by the collective consciousness. And so, I turn it all over to you.
There's so many comments there's a lot of beautiful, beautiful comments, but I'll read Darina's. Heartbreaking, heart-opening, and heart-rejoicing experience, and tears flowing, gratitude and love overflowing all together tonight. Thank you, Scott, Danette, Kusana, Dana, Andrew, Omashar, and everyone. True Illuminate celebration and a love healing festival indeed. Thank you, Darina, and that sums up, I think, how so many people are feeling. Well, we're going to introduce Marianne Williamson. We did this wonderful Illuminated Visionaries program that I had the honor to put together. I called on some of my friends that you've all seen on The Awakening World, and before that on the Saturday Night Live show. And everybody else was able to join us live except for Marianne. So this is a pre-record with Marianne, and she shares some interesting things. So let's take a look. Welcome, Marianne, and it is so exciting to honor you as one of our Illuminated Visionaries for this incredible film festival, and of course for the Awakening World as well. And so what does that mean to you? Like when you get the note, okay, we're honoring you as an Illuminated Visionary, of course it might be nice for the ego, but then on a deeper level, what does that mean to you?
Well, on one level, it's very gratifying. It's a great honor to be acknowledged for work that I have done for decades. On a professional level, I understand that, and I'm grateful. But on a personal level,
lost the sound, Scott.
Scott, do we want to stop and start again, hoping that the volume will come back? Oh, wait, you're on mute.
You're muted, brother. Sometimes when you mute yourself, it mutes the film.
Oh, okay, because I was hearing her, but I guess when I muted myself, it muted her.
Well, yeah, I had that problem.
All right. How long ago was that?
Started again, brother.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. Let's go back to the beginning then. It's going to take me a moment to pull back. There's Illuminate. Here we go. As our illuminated visionaries for this incredible film festival, and of course for the awakening world as well. And so what does that mean to you? Like when you get the note, okay, we're honoring you as an illuminated visionary. Of course, it might be nice for the ego, but then on a deeper level, what does that mean to you?
Well, on one level, it's very gratifying. It's a great honor to be acknowledged for work that I have done for decades. On a professional level, I understand that, and I'm grateful. But on a personal level, the last thing I do is wake up in the morning and think of myself as a visionary. You know, in the Eastern religions, the guru never calls himself the guru. I'm a student, just like everybody else is. And no matter, you know, it's like your physical muscles, you might get to the gym and work out so much that you like the way your body is, but if you stop doing the work, your muscles will begin to weaken. And in spiritual world, the same is the case. You never get to stop working on yourself. And the moment when you are tempted, you know, I don't believe in this eureka theory of, you know, I got it. No, no, no. I might have gotten it 5 minutes ago, but right now I might be triggered. I might be triggered into that place where the wires are crossed and I don't know how to express my love and get my needs met. You can call these your character defects, your wounds. So when I think of myself as someone who's working on my wounds, my character defects, my temptations, as much as anyone else is. And the Course in Miracles says that everyone has a highly individualized curriculum. So my work is in every moment and every circumstance. What are you choosing, Marianne? Are you opening your heart? Are you there to give? Are you there to get? Are you there to complain? Or are you there to open up to receive and all the love that's here? Are you judging someone, or are you focusing on someone's goodness? That's the work of my life. And anything that happens in the outer world, you know, professionally, I think has to stem from that. So I feel the greatest work I can do for others is to work on myself. I always say that I'm not trying to get the message out, I'm trying to get the message in.
It's beautiful. I mean, I love your humility. And it's true, you know, we can be like in that enlightened moment, and then something happens and we get triggered and reptile brain takes over, right? And it's important to recognize that because, you know, Sri Aurobindo wrote about the dangers of enlightenment, and that whenever somebody has a lot of popularity or sudden infusion of money or fame or success, it's a dangerous time, because all aspects of self can get expanded.
Absolutely.
So how has that been for you when you've had lots of attention, lots of focus, lots of energy coming your way? How have you managed all the different aspects of self, including the perfectly human, less evolved parts of yourself?
I can look back at this point in my life and think that I pretty much fell into every temptation possible. Never over the line, but pretty close to it. You know, when I say close to a line, I don't think I ever crossed into serious lack of ethics, but I've crossed into moments that I would definitely look at as blindness and ego, due to situations where supposedly and actually theoretically I knew better. I think that's what's true for most of us at a point in our spiritual journey. We know the basics so that any mistake we make is like, I should have known better. Like, I'm Marianne Williamson, I should have known better. Yeah. Well, you know, ego is very sly. Ego is very sly. That's why the traditional Christians call it the silver-tongued devil.
The motto that I love is how perfectly human, right?
Well, I think this is what keeps us humble. You know, so I've been in situations where I've judged someone, particularly young people. I know some young women I was judging one day in my mind. And then I thought about the fact that the very things I was judging them for, when I was their age, I was much worse.
Huh?
It's so easy to point the finger at other people. You know, I love it when other people say, oh, Marianne's ego. Well, you have to have an ego to be pointing at my ego. Only your ego would. So everybody needs to just point at their own.
Beautiful. You know, I love that at the time that we're talking about you as a visionary, we're actually having this very beautiful human conversation. And I'm appreciating your humility and your honesty, because you are a role model for so many people. And people can get lost in the idea of, oh, well, you know, Marianne's up here and I can never be that. And then it adds to people's shame.
You know, first of all, nobody who has read my books or heard me speak feels that way. But it has been my experience that those who put you up on a pedestal are the very people who would then knock you off. If they put you up on a pedestal, then the minute you do anything that's not their idea of perfection, then so we're all students. The Course in Miracles says, it's you're not perfect or you would not have been born, but it is your mission to become perfect here. I feel about myself what I feel about really almost like the human race right now. Okay, Marianne, you've made some great advances in your ability to be in an open-hearted space, but there's still those places where you shut down, where you think you're better, or you think you're worse, or you think you're smarter, or you think you're more stupid, or you think you're more qualified, or you think you're less qualified, or whatever. Clean it up. This is the time. We all have, you know, it's kind of like you have a drawer in your house or a closet, and all the stuff you don't quite know what to do with, you just shove it in there. And you say, well, I'll get to it someday. But really, you're just playing a trick with yourself, because you know you probably won't get to it, but you're not having to confront the fact that you're throwing away something that you know you should have dealt with. That's the closet we have to clean out right now. That's the drawer. And I know we'll feel so much better when we do. So I'm having to face some things in myself right now that are very intense along that line.
Thank you for sharing that. It's very beautiful, you know, and deep breath there, deep breath, you know, may we all clean out our closet and get the support that we need for cleaning out the closet, you know, because it is important to get that support during these incredible times.
That's what our society is very lacking right now. We kick people when they're down. You know, Hemingway said, everyone is broken, but some grow stronger in the broken places. When we fail, when we admit our darkness, which we have to do, he says in the Course, I cannot take from you what you will not release to me. Those are the teachable moments. And that's when we need to bear witness with others. I'm going to stand with you while you do this work of exposing and detoxing and thus healing and improving. We just keep hitting people, you know. It's a mean-spirited moment.
My favorite coach, a basketball coach, is Phil Jackson. Super successful, 11 NBA championships. And one of his teachings is when a player's down is when I remind him of how great he is. When a player is playing great is when I remind him he can do better.
That's right. That's right. Did you see that? It was on the internet. It went viral. It was in England, and it was on a soccer field. Did you see this? It's a video of these two little boys and their coach, and I think it's soccer. These kids are like 7 or 8 or 9 or maybe 10 years old. And this one little boy had failed at something, and this other little boy comes up to me, takes him by the arm and says, you are the best. Do you hear me? Do you understand me? It's so profound, and it's so beautiful to watch this one little boy refused to let this other little boy feel bad about himself.
Wow.
And the coats, I mean, it's just beautiful.
I'll have to find that. Yeah, there it is. That's what we need to do.
Well, we all need people in our lives there to remind us you didn't do everything right and to remind us and you didn't do everything wrong.
Mm-hmm. I have to say, we're all wanting to know what's in your future. What's next?
I'm living with that question right now. There is a story that was told by a Protestant theologian. I don't know what he called it, but I think of it as the journey of transformation from the Good Samaritan to the conscious Samaritan. The Good Samaritan's walking down the road, sees a beggar and gives the beggar alms. And then the Good Samaritan continues down the road and sees another beggar and gives the beggar alms. And the Good Samaritan continues down the road, sees another beggar and gives the beggar alms. And at some point says, I wonder why there are so many beggars. I've spent a lot of years giving the beggar alms. I've worked really hard at nonprofit activity and certainly the issues of being more loving, but we have to face not just the condition of the beggar, but a condition of a society, the richest society in the world. Why are so many people unnecessarily suffering? And I feel that I have some things to say about that, because I think the same principles that apply to the transformation of an individual apply to the transformation of a society, because we're just a bunch of individuals. And I felt for a long time, and have said so, that those of us who are involved in spiritual work should be the last people sitting out those questions. Because if you know what changes one heart, if you know what transforms one life, you're the one who has a clue as to what would transform the larger world. But I also know it's mean out there. It's mean out there. So that is one of many factors that are playing in my head, determining what my own path might be in the future.
Well, whatever it is, we will be on that path with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I will be on your path with you. And so thank you for having me and for the conversations that we have had and hopefully we'll continue to have.
Absolutely. I look forward to that. Thank you so much, Marianne. God bless.
God bless you too, honey.
And we're Marianne, as we don't always get a chance to see her.
You know, Scott, I've seen Marianne in person and, you know, in tons of webinars, but this was just Marianne pure from the heart. And this has to be, I think, my favorite talk of hers.
Yeah. Because she's talking about the humanity that we can all relate to. She's so human. She's so human. And we all are. Yeah. And I so appreciate her humility and that she was willing to stay in conversation on such a personal level. Yeah. Well, it's been a rich evening. It's been a rich 10 days. I definitely look forward to continuing to work with you, Danette, and all the people that we've seen tonight. And thank you, beautiful friends, everybody watching. A lot of amazing comments in the chat box. And yeah, thank you. A reminder that tomorrow is the Sacred Sunday show. And it's going to be a very global peace tribe connecting Sacred Sunday show. We're going to have kind of a combination of things. We're going to do some reminiscing about the recent retreat. We're going to share some memories. We're going to do practices for how to be more grateful as we approach Thanksgiving. We're going to maybe do a little practice on how to manage those of you who are going to be with family. Sometimes going back and being with family during the holidays is a mixed bag of nuts, pun intended. Omashar will be playing music. And then we've got a wonderful new guest musical artist who's very inspiring. She's next generation, change the world. Vadahi Amahir will be with us. So it's gonna be a wonderful show, Sacred Sunday show, tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock. And then next week, we're going to be collaborating again with our friends with the Global Coherence Pulse, Teresa Collins, and it's going to be a combination of art, science, and spirituality. And she's got some great guests planned. And we'll, of course, send out an email about that. So thank you again. And I'm going to go to Fanny and Vagary to close us out with some beautiful music. Hello, Fanny and Vagary. You're muted. There you go.
What a wonderful, wonderful night to be with you here. All of you, all this energy and consciousness and uplifting. This one is called Music is Flowing. Keeps on going, like the river keeps on going to where you've never been before. It's a blissfulness, a benediction, an ecstasy that should not be contained within you, like a sea. Your radiance, your dance of the beyond, your dance for everyone. Music is flowing, reaching for higher grounds. Music is flowing, music reaching for higher ground. Music is love in harmony with the waters. It swirls playfully beneath the sky, showered with blessing from the stars. Come in passion, spread your light in the dance of the beyond, reaching in, reaching out, in the dance of the lovers. Drink this sweet, sweet nectar, bliss out. Music is flowing. Music is flowing. Reaching for higher ground. Reaching for higher ground. Reaching for higher grounds. Reaching for higher. Your love is so deep, like a deep blue sea. Your love is like the deep blue sky. Your love is pure, like the sunlight. keeps on flowing to where you've never been before, to where you've never been before.
Music is flowing. Music is love. Reaching for higher ground. In all the colors. Music is flowing. Music is love. Reaching for higher ground. Reaching in, reaching out. Music is flowing. Music is flowing. Reaching for higher ground. Music is flowing. Music is flowing. Reaching for higher ground. Reaching in and reaching out. Music is flowing. Reaching for higher ground. In all the colors. Music is flowing. Reaching for higher ground. Music is flowing. Reaching for higher ground. Higher ground. Music is flowing. Reaching for higher ground. Reaching for higher ground. Music is
Thank you for taking us into such a beautiful high vibration, so reflective of this evening and really of almost all the shows that we do. If people are interested in booking the Mystiques, also known as Fanny and Vagary, if you go to starchild.ca, that's the website. And also a reminder again that you can get their music. They are the Mystiques, and you can find them on Bandcamp. And let's definitely make sure we support Fanny and Vagary, the Mystiques. Thank you so very much. It's great to have you back on the show. And may your new home serve you well during this winter, this new winter season. Thank you.
Thank you. Much
Again, I want to say thank you to Danette and everybody with the Illuminate Film Festival. It's been wonderful. One more event, which I'll be moderating, the film Antidote, tomorrow afternoon. So maybe hopefully I'll see some of you there. Have a beautiful evening. Hope to see you all on the Sacred Sunday show. God's blessings, everyone. I'm going to go to gallery view, so turn on your cameras and wave and twinkle as we get to see all these beautiful, beautiful beings joining us tonight. Thank you so much, everyone. Big, big love.